Hi guys, I just wanted to make this quick intro about my testimony, and I wanted to do it in a way that I could express myself. So God really put it on my heart to share my testimony, and I have been procrastinating about it because I have a difficult time expressing my emotions or thoughts. So it made me think about Moses and how he had trouble. So it brought me to Exodus 4:10. O Lord, I have been eloquent neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant. I am slow of speech and tongue. The Lord said to him, Who gave this man his mouth? Who makes him deaf or mute? Who gives him sight or makes him blind? It is not I, the Lord. Now go, I will help you speak and will teach you what to say. So God really put that on my heart and encouraged me to share my testimony with you. So I decided to make it in a way to where I don't stumble on my words or my thoughts and just express myself in a way that would be easy for me to get my testimony out. So I really want to be obedient to the Lord and share this testimony with you. For anyone who is going through the same things, maybe this video can help you and we can encourage each other and guide each other.
As long as I can remember being a small child, I felt different. I remember always being filled with deep sadness for no reason, as if I came into this world carrying a burden that was too big for me to carry, which made me cling on to people, even as I got older. I needed to feel comfort even though my mom filled my life with love. I still felt empty and alone. I always wanted to be loved as I loved. But people would hurt me, betray me, belittle me. I didn't understand why the world was filled with such hate. I carried pain in my heart that turned into bitterness and anger. I started sensing spirits for some reason. They would follow me wherever. I was intrigued by them, and a part of me accepted them. Maybe because I felt alone. I always thought about dying as they reminded me that they were once here. I thought about the suffering of this world. I didn't want to be a part of it. I was afraid of dying, yet terrified of living. One night, when I was a child, I looked up at the sky out of my bedroom window and wished on the brightest star, that when I die, I would die in my sleep, peacefully. My life was forever changed after that night. The next day, I felt anxiety and fear that I had died in my sleep and I couldn't wake up. I not only felt alone, but anxious. I didn't know how to tell anyone what I had done. Soon after I started having visions, I thought, now I know this surely is a dream. How could I see the future? I had so much anxiety and I thought I had control over the future. That's when my OCD started. I started doing little rituals and counting steps. Somehow I found comfort in them, thinking I could prevent things from happening. I had a cousin who had passed away during this time of my life. Right before he passed away, I thought I would put my OCD to the test and skip my ritual. That day, my cousin died. I thought it was my fault. I knew from that point on I could never stop counting or doing my rituals. Now I know my dream had become a nightmare. My vision started coming more and more, and so did my OCD and anxiety. It controlled my whole life. I soon found out that I came from a family line who could see visions, so it was passed on to me. I was trapped, and I didn't know how to wake up from this nightmare. I felt so alone and scared. I needed love and comfort. I felt happiness. I was in love. I fell deeply in love, and I hung on to that love very tightly. But I still had bitterness in my heart from being mistreated and seeing how people were so mean. All the pain I had built up inside me turned into anger. It was a battle I was fighting with love and hate. Soon, hate won, and I found myself alone again. My thoughts of suicide became the only option I had left. This was it. I was planning my way out of this world, out of this nightmare I trapped myself in, because no matter how many times I wished on a star to take it back, it didn't work. I would drink and hope someday I would get so drunk I would have the courage to drive my car into something that would instantly kill me. I would drive my car around, testing it to see how fast it could go, but I was never drunk enough to do it. One day I burst into tears and said, "God, you are in control. You take the wheel." Then very soon after, like days later, I met my husband. He was completely different from me. He was the sweetest, loving, patient man and person I ever met. He would listen to me. He was a shoulder to cry on. And he supported me through my anxiety and depression, even though he didn't understand it. He was very patient, and he just loved me through it all. I was happy again, for a short while. And my anxiety and depression seemed to come back, even worse. I started watching videos on depression to find some answers. I came across videos about motivation and inspiration. I was looking for some kind of hope. They were great and helped me for about 5 minutes. The more searches I did, the more I found myself watching videos about meditation, which led to videos like The Power of Your Mind, Controlling Your Own Thoughts, You Are in Control, Spirit Guides, Spiritual Awakening, Chakras and Crystals. I started to study all of these. I felt like I finally found some answers. I started thinking about how I had visions since I was a child and thought, I finally found people I could relate to. So I started learning more about my family line. Who did these practices before I was even born? And how could I relate to the spiritual world? And I thought I was finally awake. I was intuitive as a child, and I thought I found my destiny in the spiritual world. I believed this is who I am. I am a psychic. I am spiritual. Since the spirits had been following me since I was a child, it all made sense to me. I started practicing mind reading even more, since I already was intuitive. I encouraged it and embraced it. I opened my third eye and called on spirit guides. I welcomed them. Since my mom had passed away, I thought, why turn the dead away? We must connect and communicate with them. I was able to read people's thoughts easily, so it was kind of hard for me to make friends or talk to people since I knew what they were thinking. I would even give everyone the cold shoulder because I already knew how they felt. I could hear conversations when people would talk about me like I was tuning into a radio station, just out of nowhere. This would affect my mood and I would become very angry and would think of ways to confront them. I would become angrier and I took my anger out on everyone, anyone, for any reason. I started picking fights with anyone for any little reason, for any little attitude they gave me. It was enough for me to start war with them. I would lash out and I was quick-tempered. I couldn't stand being around anyone. I was always on guard, like an abandoned, abused stray, always in self-defense mode. By this time, my anxiety was so severe because the world was a burden for me. God had taken my mother even though I begged him not to. So I thought, why ask him for help when he didn't answer my prayers? He never took my sufferings I was burdened with as a child, so after practicing mind control, I was out of control. It became too much for me to try to control things. My OCD took over my life. I thought every move I made would impact my life. Even if I delayed by a second or a step, it would change the future. My OCD told me where to be and when. I became a puppet. I found myself outside my body. Sometimes I felt like I was losing my mind. I could see myself from a distance as I was fighting my way back into my mind and drifting away. I didn't even feel like it was my body anymore. I was trapped between the world and the spiritual world. I told my husband I could feel myself escaping, and I was afraid I wouldn't be able to return one day. It was getting harder to fight to stay because I didn't feel like I was there anymore. I told him I was ready to go into a mental institution. I couldn't fight this anymore. I was dying inside, and I was losing this battle. I fell to my knees with a loud cry. I stayed there on the ground, too weak to get up from my mourning of my once innocent life, before I fell asleep that night and wished upon a star that changed my life forever. I cried a loud cry of brokenness. God, help me. Have mercy on me. Can you save me? I promise I will give you my life if you can save it. I give you control. I can't survive this with my own thoughts. I have no control. I surrender. No OCD, no crystals, no chants, or spirit guides can save me. If you are willing to save me, if I haven't gone too far from you to find me, have mercy, save my soul, and I promise to give you my life. I will never look back on anything or anyone you remove from my path and my walk with you. I will accept it, and I will only look forward if you lead me. I will worship you all the days of my life. I know I am not worthy to even ask for such a request. I don't deserve you or your presence. But take my hand, take my life, and lead me to the cross, so that I may leave it all there, all my sins. Please find me, for I am a lost sheep, and I have strayed away. I will spend the rest of my life seeking you and speaking the truth. He started showing me everything I was doing wrong. I was worshiping idols. I was talking to evil spirits for guidance and not asking the Lord for his guidance. I was reading from people's mind, which was exaggerated from Satan to stir up trouble. He was conspiring against me. He tricked me into thinking I had the power within me. He trapped me between the so-called spirit world and the carnal world. I sobbed in shame as God spoke to my heart. You meditated and chanted for spirits that you welcomed into your home instead of praising me and meditating on my word and welcoming me into your home. You worshiped crystals when all you had to do was look up and call upon my name. You opened your third eye when I had shut it and tried to hide evil from you. You forgot about me because of these things. You turned to idols and called on them to save you. But I never left you. You turned away and chased the things of this world. I mourned for you as you drifted away. Every day I waited for you to come back to me. Every day I cried for you as a parent cries for their lost children. I have always loved you. I have always searched for you, for my lost and broken.